There's a lot going on with E! The final episode just recently of The Royals, Kim Kardashian and Keeping Up with Them, and of course the Bruce Jenner series. But another show is getting ready to come back on E! Next Sunday night during Memorial Day weekend. And that series is The Rich Kids of Beverly Hills.
I grew up drinking Dom, rich and bubbly.
They've always been rich.
It's true. Hair flip.
But rich.
We are common folk.
Plebeian.
Just got real.
I'm done with this bitch.
I just don't know why someone would be so evil.
This season,
It's time for me to move out.
none of the rules apply.
Yes!
Woo!
Morning, Stuart. Will you marry me?
Rich Kids of Beverly Hills returns Sunday, May 24th, only on E!
And joining us now live from Los Angeles, one of the RKs of BH, Roxy Sowlaty. Roxy, it's wonderful to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. And joining both of us, the creator and executive producer of the series, Doron Ofir. Doron, welcome in.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Roxy, why did you decide to open up your life to this series?
I think it just felt natural with all my best friends involved in the project, and it felt safe, and I was kind of like, why not? It's a platform for me to show my business, and I can have fun with my best friends.
And what is your business, and how did you get your best friends involved in this?
Well, I do interior design, so it allows me to show the world what I do and be creative on the show. And, Doron kind of put the whole cast together. I think you can fill in more than me with Doron, but he kind of found Morgan and Dorothy and built the show around them. And they called me, like, Roxy, will you do this project with us? I'm like, why not? And it all kind of happened.
And Doron, how did this show evolve? Was it a case of E! and your fellow producers and you finding these kids, or was it a case of these kids finding you in some way?
Well, it's the old adage of, the chicken or the egg. The fact was that social media had exploded, and people within the world of self-promotion had begun their entrepreneurial spirit, and the millennial generation, more so than any other, had embraced that. So a Tumblr started called The Rich Kids of Instagram, which collected all of sort of the outrageous and amazing and sort of jaw-dropping lives through photos on Instagram, had collected all the various feeds and put them all under one roof under the Tumblr. That started getting a lot of attention from 2020, from ABC News, it got a bit of a worldwide sort of jaw drop. Simultaneously to as this Tumblr was gaining its success, a couple of the cast, including Roxy, Dorothy, and their group of friends, had been featured on there. So on the radar of the world, this started, sort of transcending, and various press outlets started reaching out to Dorothy and being like, what is this? Who are you? How do you live this life? I had the luck, literally, of meeting Dorothy over the phone first. I had asked Dorothy to sort of explain to me the world in which she lives in, and for the first time ever, a group of friends were willing to show their world, their friendships, to a viewing audience. We had always had lifestyles of the rich and famous, and we had cribs, and we had sort of this television world that showed the world, but you never saw them interact within it. You saw the homes, you saw the cars, you saw, the vacations, but you never saw them playing in it or living in it. And when Dorothy and Morgan had kind of come in and we started to explore the groups of friends, obviously I had already known about Roxy Sowlaty's interior career. So, her sort of legend kind of transcended her a little, and so I had a lot of these celebrity friends that had consulted with her, and I had been to some of the homes, and, when the name popped up, I said, oh, okay, so I know who this is. And immediately she joined the cast. So she was one of the first main cast members to join the original, and then we added, obviously, Johnny Drewville, E.J. Johnson, and Brendan Fitzpatrick, which became Morgan's, love of her life.
Roxy, before you said, yes, I'm going to do this series, what went through your mind, pro and con, about making it happen? Were there any concerns you had about?
It was a lot of like, oh my God, Mom, am I going to be okay? Is my life going to be ruined? Am I selling my soul? Am I going to lose all of my best friends? Are people going to hate me? Like a lot of back and forth. But I think that it was a really brave decision to do it, and it's an amazing learning experience, and it's given me a great platform to show the world what I do, and why not?
And now that you have seen yourself and people have you've opened your life to people, maybe millions of people over the last 2 years or so. And again, here we go, next chapter coming up Sunday night. What have you learned about yourself, and what have you learned about how others see you?
I've learned a lot about myself. I learned about my mannerisms. I learned about my character. I learned about how, maybe I overreact at times. I learned about things that I like how I look in this angle. I hate how I look in that angle. I hate how I act in this way. Just different things. You get a window into yourself that you never really get to see. So it's been a very interesting experience. But,
as a producer,
coming up is really, really a lot more real than the ones previously have been. So it's going to be a little bit more nerve-wracking to watch back, I think.
And as a producer, cast and talent really do an extraordinary job about allowing their lives to be cataloged and filmed and documented by a group, by the producers of the show. But what I think the viewers don't understand is that we're filming hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage to be able to provide 8 hours of television. And the most outrageous, the best moments, and the most dramatic ever make air. And a lot of people always sort of come to it and say, well, how real is reality television? And it's 70% in terms of it is their lives, it is their friendship, everything here is organic. But obviously the timeline is skewed because, we shoot months in advance, and then the audience is sort of living it real time. And Roxy and the rest of the cast are very brave to sort of allow it to air some of the dirty laundry that exists. But is it really as real as viewers are seeing? And I think that that's the part that the cast never really is prepared for, because fame has its own ramifications for it. And I think that Roxy, is one of these characters that is galvanizing, and she's not gray. You see white and you go white or black with her. And, it turned out that in our audience sort of polls and stuff, Roxy was the standout amongst male viewers. And they found her to be the most attractive and sort of the one that gave the most, like allure. So, I coined her as, the Persian kitten, which she got mad at me about. But, she became sort of the sex symbol of the show, and what was funny about it was where Dorothy sort of represents sort of this glamorous kind of, visual, and Morgan became sort of this fashion comedic icon and, sort of the speaker to all people in relationships. Roxy suddenly became sort of the foil to all of this. And the truth was that in real life, they are very close friends, and their jobs and entrepreneurial spirit, transcend the show. But the fact is that we go along for the ride, and the show is meant to be a bit of a sitcom. And now that it's going into an hour, the sitcom has evolved into a little bit more of a docu-soap format.
And the beginning of that hour is this Sunday night, 10 p.m. East Pacific time. It's season 3 of Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, and it's on E! Entertainment Television. And we are speaking live with Roxy Sowlaty, one of the Rich Kids, and the executive producer and creator of the series, Doron Ofir. They're both with us live from Los Angeles this half hour on Tomorrow Be Televised. Simon Applebaum with you live from the other coast, namely Nueva York, right here on Blog Talk Radio and Brooklyn Independent Media. And we invite you to weigh in with some phone calls and some chat room reaction. So let us hear it at 646-652-2906. Or get into our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. We welcome Annabelle 89 and Kelsey 2. Happy to have you in the room. Make your voice known, because what you say matters. Friday on the program, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader is coming back next week on Fox. We've got the co-creator and executive producer Barry Posnick with us. Also, the World Channel, one of the public television services you might not know about because in some markets it's on linear TV, others on video on demand, has a very interesting new documentary series that premiered last night. It's called Standing on Sacred Ground. We'll have Tony McLeod. He is the executive producer. It's all coming up Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Tomorrow Be Televised. And next Wednesday, on a special edition of our show, we will have the creator of The Americans, about to win a Peabody Award on May 31st, Joe Weisberg, and his fellow executive producer colleague, Joel Fields. They're with us on a special edition of Tomorrow Be Televised next Wednesday, May 27th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Blog Talk Radio. Doron, how do you strike a balance with everything you have to tape and all the people involved in Rich Kids? How do you strike a balance between how these people lead their lives?
Well, they lead their lives like any other normal human leads their lives. Their lives just happen to be more outrageous, extravagant, with a lot more access. But the fact is that when you look at great fictional films, or even television series like Gossip Girl, or, at one point when Laguna Beach in the Hills, which was obviously sort of soft scripted, this show is a lot less than soft scripted. It's a lot more organic. So the friendships here are tried and tested, and things that happen are then documented. But like a wedding video, strangely enough, it's a time capsule of a moment in their lives. And it allows other people to join that moment and celebrate it or talk about it or create social media around it. But at the end of the day, when the doors close at night and they go to bed, they are on their own in their own lives. But in film, this show first labeled itself as almost like a modern-day Clueless, and a lot of people came up out of us and said, well, these are not kids. Why is it called Rich Kids? And it was not meant to sort of be a slam to their age or maturity level. It was meant to be a nod to the world of social media and the power of social media, and the fact that entrepreneurials, above all others, were hashtagging and cross-referencing their lives in order to promote their entrepreneurial spirit. So that's what that was about. And, Roxy is one of these people that from the beginning has sort of elevated her career on her own. She has her own relationships. She has this line of candles. Her design is flourishing in multiple cities, not just Los Angeles. And you take along that ride. But, however, the personalities and the visuals of the show allows you to sort of hang along. More so than I think the Kardashians, because the Kardashians are, in a strange world, are unattainable, where the rich kids of Beverly Hills lives are much more accessible.
Roxy, when you started with this, what did you anticipate the social reaction, the social media reaction to be? And in fact, has that happened? Did they respond, the Facebook people, the Twitter people, the Instagram, the Snapchat people, did they respond the way you thought, or were you surprised by the reaction?
I think that I expected people to either love us or hate us, that people would initially would really want to hate us, and then once they watch it, that we're really funny and really silly, and they'll end up loving us. Which I think is kind of what happened. I think the name is kind of jarring. It's like, oh my God, I already want to hate them, that they're the rich kids of Beverly Hills. And then you watch and we kind of are self-deprecating, and we're kind of like intelligent and stupid in different ways, like back and forth. I think it just works. I think people end up really enjoying watching our show. So that's really been the reaction I've gotten from viewers as well.
Early on, Doron, there were some critics who called the show materialistic. They called, you only showcase one side of these people, maybe not a more balanced side. How do you respond to that, or the early criticism of that?
I don't. The way Coco Chanel said, you could talk about me all you want. You don't really exist to me. The funny thing is that the show was meant to be a send-up to a very specific world. When you look at fictionalized television like Dynasty, this was an 80s primetime soap that literally transformed television for generations. And that was what this is supposed to sort of be a nod to. So when you watch films like Clueless or Jawbreakers or Heathers or Mean Girls or Cruel Intentions, or you follow the scripted world of 90210 or Melrose Place, this is the first sort of reality send-up of a generational group of kids that aren't, and when I say kids, I use that word loosely, that aren't housewives, that didn't inherit the money because of their marriage, that are the second or third generation of families that were living the American dream. And I had heard quotes at one point, like, I didn't choose this life chose me. Or if people are going to be angry, they should be angry at my parents. Why? Because they actually achieved through hard work what all parents wish for. And so to kind of look at it from a critical point of view and say, well, why do they have something I don't have? The first thing I say is you should question yourself so that you can make yourself a better life, so that you can have those things. We are driven by a materialistic society, and that's why you look at things like Chanel and Prada and Jaguar, and, you want that. And here are a group of people who are best friends, who are navigating the same questions and the same problems that anyone else has in friendships, in relationships, in etiquette, in the modern day of social interaction, so how people react based on things that are said publicly, that are no different than anyone else, plus they're striving to form their own careers, own identities that is similar to most people that can relate. Now, when they come back and say, well, I don't have what they have, the truth is almost nobody does, because, Roxy can tell you this. Roxy is not given an allowance by her parents. She isn't, in season 1 we explored her being cut off, and it is an element of that. And I think that all parents want the best for their children.
And in fact, Roxy, you're an entrepreneur. You're someone who is trying to make it through your willpower, through your product, and through the audience that you get.
Yes, absolutely. My parents are entrepreneurs, and they raised me to kind of want to make a great life for myself. So there's no other option for me other than to work really hard and make a great life for myself. That's all I've ever wanted and ever aspired for anyway.
Do people see you as a role model?
I think so. I think that I get a lot of emails from a lot of young girls and boys saying that they look up to me, they want to be an interior designer, they want to go to school like I did, they want to intern for me. And that makes me really happy, because I think hard work is really important and self-reliance is really important, and I hope people get that from my message.
Hey, Roxy, I want to throw a plug your way as well. The truth is that Roxy, as an interior designer, although she's labeled, in this world of wealth, the fact is that she creates these extraordinary interiors, and these extraordinary interiors, depending on the budget of whoever the client is, she works within it. So there's ways of making things look spectacular without having to go for the top-of-the-line label, and that's really what Roxy's aesthetic is to bring a little luxury and a little wealth to everyone within any price point.
Thank you, Doron. Yes, that really is my passion. I love having really low budgets and making a space with a really limited budget. I think that's when I thrive the most.
Grinko's in our chat room, and Roxy, she has a question. Grinko's a question for you. Who's your idols? Who are your influences?
My idol. I think my parents are definitely my idols. They work so hard, and they've created a beautiful life for me, and I want to just do what they've done and more.
Gingham, thank you very much for the chat room. And if you want to get a question or comment in, use that chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name, as that person just did. Or give us a call, 646-652-2906. That number's good anywhere. You're catching us across the country, around the globe here on Blog Talk Radio, and locally on Brooklyn Independent Media. Coming up in our next half hour, we're going live via Skype to Florida, and we're speaking with the top TV critics of the country, Eric Dagans of National Public Radio. He is also one of the judges of the Peabody Awards, the Pulitzer Prize of Television Media, which comes to New York for its annual ceremony, first time in prime time on Sunday, May 31st. We'll talk to him about all the new TV shows that are coming up this fall on broadcast television, about diversity on television, about the finale of Mad Men last night, the upcoming finale of Late Show with David Letterman on Wednesday on CBS, and a whole lot more. Eric Dagans live via Skype, coming up next half hour right here on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. Doron, give us the preview of Season 3 coming up Sunday night.
Well, I think that what makes the new season different than the others is that we've actually been extended to a full hour, which is based on, the actual lives and personalities of the cast. So, I could just bow to them. So now that we're an hour, you're going to see a lot more insight into the lives. And I think that this time, the audiences have gotten to know sort of the frivolity of their world. And now we're getting into real deeper issues that may transcend, hopefully, into multiple seasons. There is breakups. There is engagements. There is tears, there is a lot of laughter, and there's a lot of coined phrases and a new sort of world of vernacular, of the way kids speak and the way people talk about things. And, EJ is so sort of prolific in that, and he coins new phrases, which then obviously sort of become mainstream, and we're hoping that this show does take a whole new level to a viewing audience. And I hope people tune in, because it's an amazing season. There are some amazing trips and access to a world that most will never sort of be able to see outside of it. So other than looking at a brochure of a specific hotel, you're going to see them interact within it. And I think that that's really a testament to the cast, because they allow us to join them on that ride.
Roxy, Kelsey, too, from our chat room's got a question for you. We're going to shift it from the making of the show to a little home and garden television type question for you. Here's this. It deals with interior designing. If you have a limited budget of $300, what could Kelsey add to her bedroom to spice it up? She says it's super boring and she could use a bit of poshness.
Ooh, okay. I think cute nightstands from Urban Outfitters. They have really good $99 nightstands. Or put mirrors over your nightstands. They're inexpensive from World Market. Or cute little stools, tufted ottomans from Target. They're $120 each, and they're super cute.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Youth Booth just joined our chat room. So Youth Booth, you have a question or comment, either give us a call at 646-652-2906 or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. A lot of people in the room, and we do appreciate it, because guess what? What you say matters. Doron, are any new rich kids coming aboard in Season 3?
Yeah, we are premiering a new cast member that has joined the cast this season, and it's Taylor Hasselhoff, and she has a famous father. So, put two and two together. And, her story is a little different than the rest of the group. And she comes in through EJ because they're, friends. And we're going to see a little bit of her life and her relationship and how she sort of navigates what it's like to be a celebrity offspring. And she shares that with EJ, who is obviously Magic Johnson's son. So, we're seeing a little bit of that world along with the relationship amongst Roxy, Morgan, Dorothy, Morgan and Brendan's relationship. We're seeing a lot more of the family members take part this season, so you're getting to know the sisters, brothers, and parents. And I think it's a really great, fun ride. So I hope people, tune in.
We got a call. We're going to take it. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on. Hello. Dropped off the line. We'll see if we can get that person back on the next few minutes. Roxy, in terms of where do you hope that this third season goes for you? What do you want to discover about yourself, about your business, about the other rich kids?
I really hope that I just get to have my own design show or own my own line of home good products at like a Target or a Sears, something really inexpensive and really accessible and beautiful. And I hope we just all achieve our dreams through all of this.
By the way, Kelsey, too, appreciates the answer you gave to her chat room question. So thanks to Kelsey for that.
That was good. I'm glad.
Doron, I think it really says something that E! decided for Season 3 to take you to an hour. Was it an easy call for them to do?
In my opinion, I wish they would have done it from the beginning. I think that you're right. I think that E!'s formatting is changing a little bit also. And you know what? They've been really, really great to us in allowing this group of talented cast to transcend a show. And this is the first show, really kudos to the cast, that they weren't known in any other capacity other than who they are as people. So it wasn't actually celebrities in the launch of the first season. So it had no name recognition. And people tuned in out of curiosity and stayed because of what they were experiencing and watching and laughing along. I mean, I get stopped on the street consistently when people sort of put two and two together, and they literally quote the show. And I hadn't seen people quoting a show like that in a reality show ever, since Jersey Shore, actually. So it's like one of those where the lines that come out of Roxy's mouth, when she starts talking about how Liberace is her soul sister, or, how Morgan, the way she sees life, or the Dorothyisms. I call Morgan sort of, her things. I call them morgasms. And, Dorothyisms, and, it's the way they see the world. And it's really, really funny because it's the way people talk when cameras aren't rolling. And there is a little bit of a cattiness to it, and I think that that's part of the enjoyment of the show. So you take it with a grain of salt because they may be laughing at you or with you, and the difference is you may not be able to sit with them, but you could definitely watch them and join them.
That's cute.
There you go. Season 3 of Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, hour long now, premieres Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Pacific Time on E! Consult your local listing for E! shows up near you on cable and satellite, and you can learn more online at www.eonline.com. Roxy Sowlaty, Doron Ofir, thank you both very much for joining us. All the best with Season 3 and beyond.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A pleasure to both of you. Take care. Have a great week.
Bye.
Roxy Sowlaty, one of the subjects of the Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, and executive producer and creator Doron Ofir, both joining us live from Los Angeles.